You know, the medium of games is strange enough as it is. I mean, this is the medium where the most popular character is a fat Italian plumber who goes around eating mushrooms the same size as him. But there are some titles so strange and so out there that simply baffle me. There are games so odd that they're terrifying. There are some titles that are so strange that they confuse me. There are some games that are so surreal and otherworldly that they make me question whether my own existence was some fabricated illusion of some madman. And above all that crazy, drug-induced, nightmare-fueled insanity, there's Doki Doki Universe. From the minds behind ToeJam and Earl, Doki Doki Universe is the latest title from Humanature Studios. A bizarre game designed to be a multimedia experience across all Sony platforms, does Doki Doki Universe succeed in its grand plan to create a Sony ecosystem, or is it a failure of galactic proportions? Let's take a look and find out. The story opens up with a robot named QT3 being left behind on a planet by a little girl. A little girl who can apparently operate a rocket ship by herself, but I digress. 32 years go by as the robot waits and waits and waits until, well, I'll let Jeff explain it.
Sadly, your model is being discontinued. Now, the good news. If you can prove to Alien Jeff that you have some, well, humanity, they won't scrap you.
Now, the concept of exploring humanity through artificial life forms is nothing new. It's been explored countless times with films like Metropolis and Terminator 2.
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
And hey, those just happen to be two of the greatest films ever made, so clearly, there's a solid foundation to tell a thoughtful tale that explores the human condition. This is a game where you fly around on your majestic flying pig and talk to zombies. Expecting a narrative with the same level of complexity as two of the most thought-provoking movies of all time wouldn't just be unrealistic, it would be superfluous. But for what it is, the story is very charming, if a little bit weird. QT3 is a delight despite his supposed lack of humanity, and the locals he meets shows his, for lack of a better word, human qualities and his colorful personality. Each planet displays a quality of humanity like logic, pride, prejudice, and so forth, each acting like a story unto itself, full of charming characters and humor to boot. It's great characterization for a game that operates on the same level of complexity as The Wizard of Oz.
Now I know I've got a heart, because it's breaking.
In all seriousness, there is something deeper in place here. This robot exploring this vast, unknown galaxy of what humanity truly means is like ourselves exploring what our own existence means, questioning why we're stop, content locked, sorry, no humanity for you unless you pay for the expansion pack. Yeah, more on that in a bit. To wrap up the story, it's a charming little tale of a charming little robot and its charming adventure across a charming universe. For a game where you talk with some of the most ridiculous characters I've ever met in a video game, you could have done a lot worse. As already mentioned, the goal of Doki Doki Universe is to learn about humanity on several different planets. On these planets, you'll come across locals who need your help with tasks, which usually involve summoning something that they want or interacting with them. Some interactions or summons that you do will make them like you more, while others will not. It differs for each one. Each local has their own preferences. Some might like the color blue, while others might hate kisses. It's up to you to find out what their likes and dislikes are as you try to avoid them in any way you can. Unless you want to make them hate you to give you a present. Believe me, making them hate you to give you presents is not the strangest thing in this game by a mile. As you help out more of the inhabitant, you get more decorations to decorate your home planet, and more summons to summon, which in turn lets you solve even more problems on more planets. Between exploring the universe and solving puzzles, you'll also take quizzes which help the game paint a better picture of who you are, a sort of self-reflection test if you will. They're simple, but they're actually really enjoyable, as they help you learn just a little bit more about yourself with every new one you take, and there are a lot of quizzes to try out. You'll also receive messages from in-game characters, some of which are cute, like Here in the Fate of Two Lovers, but it is a touch intrusive that it keeps asking me to sign into Facebook every time I want to read them. I've also heard reports of the game crashing, and truth be told, it happened to me once. Also, one time QT3 kept waving hello and wouldn't stop, but resending the game fixed everything for both times. Be forewarned, this game may crash on you, but it should work fine afterwards, unlike Tearaway. And it's a good thing too, because there's something mysterious, something compelling that keeps drawing you into Doki Doki Universe and makes you want to keep playing. It's a very unique experience. I mean, when was the last time you could say, I am a robot who gave a hug to my best friend who is also a red balloon? A lot of people have compared it to Scribblenauts because of the creation aspect, but even that fails to do justice to the insanity you'll see here. It'll take you roughly 6 hours or so to visit all the planets, with a couple more if you decide to track down every sticker or decoration. In that time, Doki Doki Universe showcases an impressive capability for world building, and some very creative problem solving that is perfect for a younger audience, yet refreshing for those young at heart. The only major issues are that, more often than not, you don't utilize all the full tools at your disposal, like the different ways you can greet people, the different summons that you can do, and it does get a bit repetitive near the end. Sure, backfiring adds an element of surprise, but all it ends up doing is wasting your time resummoning the same object again, and fails to prevent repetition from seeping in near the final hours. Aside from that, the only other thing to note is the baffling structure of the game itself. This may have to do with the fact that Doki Doki Universe was originally meant to be a free-to-play title.
It's more than a game. It's a free-to-play, cross-platform ecosystem. It's a unique universe of personal discovery.
See? Hence why on PSN it's called the Full Game Starter Pack. Oh no, did you run out of Dust Bunnies? Pay $2 for 10 more. Warning, offer void in Minnesota. The entire design screen's free to play. There's even a few planets that you can't get to without paying for them. And unfortunately, this Facebook-esque structure is what holds Doki Doki Universe back from true greatness. It's an experience like no other that needed to understand the difference between multiplayer and socializing in order to have a more solid understanding as to what it aspired to be, because there's no actual multiplayer to speak of, which strikes me as a missed opportunity to really show off how different you and your friends' universes are, or heck, how different you and your friends are, or how similar you are due to the results of the quizzes that you take. That could have been so interesting, but instead, what did we get? Please sign into Facebook and show our game off, please. It feels like, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the game should have been built more for short bursts of play, with more additional optional content added in, like more quizzes, more summons, new inhabitants, and so on and so forth. As it stands, Doki Doki Universe is strange, confusing, and above all else, memorable. A one-of-a-kind experience that will keep you coming back to see what kind of bizarre creation lies in this galaxy. If there is one thing that Doki Doki Universe unequivocally excels at, it's delivering a visually captivating universe. The worlds, the creations, the characters, they're all equal parts charming and visual splendor. It's like if all the doodles that you made as a kid when you were bored in class sprang to life and quite literally took a life of its own. Adorable fails to describe the sheer amount of charm that Doki Doki Universe's presentation possesses. It's simply enthralling. That is to say, when its frame rate doesn't drop like mad, which it will, when it's running at full speed, it's really something to behold and just stare in awe at. When the frames start dropping and chopping, it looks really sloppy. This terrible frame rate keeps these otherwise charm-bursting visuals from matching the likes of Yoshi's Island and Wind Waker as a stunning visual presentation. The music fits the theme of each planet, but unlike the locals, not very many of them stick out. There are some catchy beats like the one in the Amazonian planet, but for the most part, they are what they were meant to be. Background noise. Nothing more, nothing less. On the whole, the music may not match the adorable visuals, but they do their part in adding a shining star of charm in Doki Doki Universe. It's a fine little title with some parts that really stand out among the crowd. Leave it to a studio with human in their name to make a game with so much heart. Doki Doki Universe is not for everyone, and right now, it has some legitimate problems. But if you can look past these flaws, you'll find an endearing universe filled with charming visuals and world building unlike any other. If you're all about unique game experiences, then you won't find many titles more unique than this one. Doki Doki Universe gets a 7.5 out of 10. That's all for now. Until next time, game on, my friends.